This is what was shared by Sister Kim, a recent writing of hers, not too long ago, just last year, only about a month before Emmanuel fell ill. A divine synergy and synchronization is taking place in the spirit. Access requires a deeper level of consecration and will form a dividing line between those complacent in their spiritual captivity and those who are longing and devoted to see a new day. Impartation will come to those who are continually postured with repentance and humility. This is an opportunity for a quick and unprecedented advancement in kingdom work. Fully immerse in the flow, and the problems that arise will have no legal ground to take root. Make haste and completely come out of her, in reference to Babylon. There is a special grace available to leave in the dust all temporal pleasures. Stand firm in resolve and do not regret what is left behind. Find true delight and keep your heart anchored in the eternal ways. Then you will not be left vulnerable to the cravings and desires of the fleshly heart. A lifestyle of repentance keeps away blockages that choke growth. Continually yielding prepares the soil of the heart, making it fertile for the Lord's sacred work. Who among you can take up the staff of authority? There is no room for games, the games of Babylon. Loose the strings of humanistic love. Not all will go with you. There is a hidden path whispered only to those set apart for her holy service. This path runs parallel with the well-trodden road, but the atmosphere does not change from the circumstances below. So it bypasses many of the winding turns and detours. This is an expedited journey into a fresh chapter of existence. In this realm, you are both a pilgrim and architect. No bricks constructed from man's own hands can be built here, for all that is built is living and adaptable, directed to a place by the Spirit. Human reasoning and affection will have no determination in placement, standard, or boundaries. The walls built here are not to confine, but to define and set apart. Those who honor this way will take victory over giants in the land with purity and wisdom. To the faithful, I will increase their borders. Then there's some references to additional content, some other links. And then there's a vision, bullseye, arrows, iceberg, and destruction. In this vision, 4 things were taking place simultaneously. These things took place in 3 phases. Phase 1, I see a plain circle. A handful of arrows shoot at it and stick. I see the tip of an iceberg in a large body of water. The water slightly ripples around it. Phase 2. I now see a circle within the previous circle. 3 arrows shoot to the middle of this new circle and stick. The iceberg raises up out of the water to expose a large section. The water around becomes a massive wave storm. Phase 3. I now see a circle within a circle within a circle. It now resembles a bullseye. 1 arrow shoots and hits the middle target. The iceberg fully emerges out of the water, but at this point, I can see it was never an iceberg, but that it was just the snow-capped tip of an enormous mountain. As this emerges, the water spills out of control and destroys all of the surrounding land. The only thing that remains in the picture is this mountain. The water settles into perfect glass all around the mountain. Obviously, we can see this is the raising up of the mountain of the Lord in and from the midst of the sea of humanity. Reference to Isaiah 60, a new day, a new priesthood. Isaiah 2:2, now it will come to pass that in the last days the mountain of the Lord will be established firmly as the highest mount of the mountains, and will be exalted above the hills, and all nations will stream to it. Isaiah 2, verse 3, and many peoples shall come and say, come, let us go up to the mountain of the Lord, to the house or the temple of the God of Jacob, that he may teach us his ways, and that we may walk in his paths. For the law will go out from Zion, and the word of the Lord from Jerusalem. That is the manifestation and expulsion of the law from the people of God through their way of life will be made known. The law of God will be made known through a people. In the same way that Jesus said, I am the fulfillment, the embodiment of the law. The law is fulfilled in my way of life. That's a pattern for God's people. So the pattern of God, or the way of life, of the way of the law of God, the perfect law of God, will be made manifest in a people who live according to that way. That is how it will be made known. Nobody's going to stand up on a podium and point to a scribble board and say, here's the first law. The law of life, the law of the Spirit of life, will be fully exemplified in a people and in the way that they walk together, love one another, relate to one another, and relate to their God. That will be a living example for the man of Christ in the earth. And God will give to them, grant them the same authority that he has, because they will be one with him. He the head, they the body. That is God's design and plan, and God is preparing those who will be willing to be prepared to reign with him during that time.